Today on Law Weekly, some lawyers share their views on the move by the Kaduna state government to regulate preaching in the state. We also have a recap of the top legal stories. Our interview segment features the National Legal Advisor of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, Dr. Muiz Banire. And we round off with a special court session in honor of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, late James Ocholi, former Minister of State for Labor and Employment, who passed on 2 weeks ago. That's the lineup on this edition of Law Weekly. Hello and welcome to the program. I am Shola Shoyeli. A bill to substitute the Religious Preaching Law 1984, which is currently before the Kaduna State House of Assembly, is facing stiff opposition from both Christian and Muslim leaders who consider it to be an attempt to inhibit religious practice. The executive bill, however, seeks to regulate preaching and stipulates punishment for violators. The bill requires a preacher in Kaduna State to obtain a preaching license from the state government. The license is renewable every year. The bill also forbids the playing of evangelical tapes and CDs in public places and allows loudspeakers to be used only inside churches and mosques, but not beyond 8 p.m. Street evangelism may also be criminalized by this bill, as all preaching activities are required to be carried out within churches and mosques. Violators of this bill stand to lose their preaching rights. Preachers found to be guilty of provocative preaching are also liable, if convicted, to 2 years imprisonment or a 200,000 naira fine, or both. In civilized societies, laws and policies protect religious freedom, and in practice, the government generally enforces these protections. But faced with the fear of radicalization, many countries across the world are reviewing the concept of religious freedom. But is the government legally empowered to do this in Nigeria? Law Weekly sought the views of some lawyers on the issue.
It's a step in the right direction because conduct of every person is regulated by law. Persons may have their fundamental right to speak or to talk, but then it has to be within the ambit of the law. Now, if this preaching is regulated, license could be issued, and then those preachers that are going to preach will have basic requirements of qualifications that they need to show to a particular council or commission that will regulate the preaching. And in such a situation, you find out that actually street preachers, will be curtailed, and persons that are not even learned in the Islamic jurisprudence, could take the order of the day, and then misinforming or perhaps even distorting the concept of the religion. So this is my own humble opinion on it. There should be a code of ethics and a code of conduct, for the preachers. We have seen situations whereby, like the Metesina riots or the Metesina antecedent, even though in Kano State there was that law, but then the implementation of that law was relaxed by the military administration, and that infiltrated Metesina into it. And then the insecurity that is going on in the country, which in some cases has a background with religion. If those laws are even made for the whole federation, from my own humble opinion, is a welcome development, because we have to look at the fundamental right of the individual and that of the larger society.
Based on the fact that Kaduna State is a state in Nigeria, and Nigeria as a sovereign nation, our constitution authorizes the practice of any religion you so choose. It's a right in chapter 4. It's a fundamental right that inures in us. You cannot remove it from us. I wonder how the chief executive of the state will wake up one day and want to regulate the manner by which religion could be practiced in that state. To my thinking, it's an infringement and is trying to overreach the constitution of this country, which is the ground norm, which is the organic law, from where all that we do should flow from.
My own opinion on the matter is that actually a state governor has power to maintain peace and order in a state, but that power should not infringe the rights of the citizens, the freedom of worship. So that's my take on it. He has the right to do so. But the so-called right is now affecting the right of people to expression and religion. And this is a constitutional right. So my position is that that power is ultra-virus. Is acting beyond his own power.
The government should always emphasize and consider the position of the religion, generally. That is my own perspective, because it's something that, in fact, Islamically, any nation that refuses to engage in this propagation and practicing, the religion is considered as, wrongdoing. Do you understand? And for that reason, I strongly believe that caution needs to be exercised. And again, I have a fear. By the time the government, try to regulate this, we have to reiterate the fact that a neutral body needs to be, engaged, so that there will not be biased in the discharge of this kind of duties, because there are so many political reasons why some people want to regulate propagation. Maybe like if you look at generally Islam in Nigeria, we have Sunni and BDA. Do you understand? So the governor or the body, if for example belongs to the Sunni, they might want to restrict the preaching of BDE, and if they are BDE, they might restrict the preaching of Sunnis. Do you understand? So for that reason, I believe that Nigeria, since the constitution has, expressly provided that freedom, is this, contained in the, chapter 4, that is fundamental human right, this practice should be allowed. They should not, try to regulate, what is, morally sound and legal in Islam.
If you say that the time that preachings will be curtailed, and you tend to criminalize what you term offensive. Now, if we begin to break it down, what is offensive to you might not be offensive to me. If I want to hear the truth, and I see that what you are preaching to me is the truth, are you saying I should not be receptive of that truth? What you're also saying again is that if any one of these people go against what has been said, then they will be liable to imprisonment, a term of imprisonment, or a fine of 200,000 naira, or both, or that they might lose their license to preach. One, something is very fundamental. There is, as guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, is a right to association, freedom of speech and freedom of association. But mind you, one thing is certain, very basic. If whatever we are doing turns out to be a nuisance, you can call on us to abate that nuisance, not to totally freeze my rights. By the time you do that, I bet you that there will be so many actions against the states in the Federal High Court and in some other places.